This may be the most beautiful rifle in my collection. It's a Swedish Rolling Block Model 1867/89. From the color case hardening on the receiver to the deeply blued barrel, this stands out among the rest of my rifles. If you've seen some of my older videos, you may know that I already have a Swedish Rolling Block, an original Model 1867, chambered in 12.17 by 44R, approximately 50 caliber, loaded with black powder. This pattern of rifle here was updated by the Swedes starting in 1889. They feature an original receiver, though they are rehardened, providing the color case hardening colors that you see here. The barrels were new, chambered for 8x58mm Danish Krag, a smokeless powder round. These were intended to serve as a stopgap until Sweden could adopt a new standard rifle, which they eventually did in the form of the Mauser Model 1896. Due to that, these rifles had a very short service life, resulting in the high condition that this one and many others like it are in. You can see that this rifle was originally made in 1870. Then looking at the date on the barrel shank and the wood directly below, it was updated to the 89 pattern in 1895. As you saw in the intro though, there's something unique about this example. It isn't chambered for the 8x58 cartridge. Instead, this one has been rechambered to 22 LR. This rifle was given to me by a friend, Mr. Reed Cofield. Reed is a gunsmith who worked for a number of various magazines throughout the years. After I first met him, I went home and brought up a gunsmithing article that I had read the day before. Sure enough, he wrote it. So Reed, if you're watching, thank you again for this beautiful rifle. The story goes that he had two of these 1867/89s. And well, if you have duplicates, why not do something interesting with one? That's how this 22 Rolling Block was born. He installed a 22 LR barrel liner inside of the original 8mm barrel. It's epoxied in place, flush at the rear, then ending about 2 inches from the muzzle to give the outside appearance that nothing has been changed. The extractor was modified to work with the much smaller rim of the 22 casings. The hole in the breech face was plugged, and a new one drilled so that the firing pin is at 12 o'clock, in line with the 22's rim. The only thing that he didn't do was make the firing pin. I made this one here. I'm not showing the process of making it, because YouTube has rules against making parts for guns, and if anything counts as a part, a firing pin does. I made it from a grade 8 bolt, holding it in a collet block, then in a 4-jaw chuck on the lathe to be able to turn the offset tip. Then it was hardened and tempered to make it durable enough. I'll install the firing pin in the breech block. The most critical part of the firing pin is the stick out. The tip of the firing pin can't be too long on a rimfire, otherwise it will hit the breech face, potentially damaging both parts. You can see here that the stick out isn't very much at all, but it's enough to set off a cartridge. Before we head back to the range, you may be wondering what this extra part on the breech block is. The Remington Rolling Block, or at least the vast majority of models, including the original Swedish 1867, have free-floating firing pins. When these rifles were updated for the 89 pattern, the Swedes added a firing pin retractor. This little piece works as a lever. When it's up like this, the firing pin is forward. When the breech block is opened, the lever will hit the front face of the hammer, pushing it flush, which retracts the firing pin. Then when the hammer pushes the firing pin forward, the lever stands up again. I'll demonstrate it by working the action. With the hammer down, the lever is up and the firing pin is forward. Then as the breech block is opened, the firing pin retracts so that a new case could be loaded without it sticking past the breech face. And once again, when it's fired, the firing pin moves forward and the lever stands up. Overall, it's a pretty simple safety mechanism in the event of a stuck firing pin. I'll test shoot with these standard velocity rounds. They have a 40 grain bullet, which looks to be coated, not plated or washed like a lot of bulk 22 out there. And with that, I'll head back to the range. There's something strange about seeing a small pop out of a rifle, where a large puff of smoke and heavy recoil are expected. Although, this is a very fun rifle to shoot, just in a completely different way. That sound is a lot more fitting to this rifle, but no, that's someone else on the other range. The extractor seems to be working very well. It's ejecting out the spent cases with no issues at all. Here you can also see how I'm loading the round. I'll put the nose into the chamber, then use the breech plug to push it all the way in. Otherwise, the rim may end up ahead of the extractor. My one complaint, if I had to come up with something, is that the trigger is heavy. It's a typical unmodified rolling block trigger, not very well suited for the lightness of 22 LR. However, it is suited to the rifle itself. From this angle you can see the firing pin retractor in action. It points up after being fired, then resets once the breech block is open for another round. Overall, I'm very happy with this rifle. It's a fine shooter, and from outward appearances, it masquerades the work that's been done to it. That's the proper way of doing a conversion like this. Thank you again to Reed for the rifle, and for the great work he did to it, the majority of the gunsmithing being done by him, not me. Thanks for watching.